Hey, grace and peace, everybody. We're back. You saw the thumbnail. You saw the title. You know what we're about to do. Jason about to get his glasses on. That's what we're about to do. And we are going to look at Tiffany Henyard. She's supposed to be on a radio station talking about her campaign or whatever of that nature. I'm finding this totally fascinating. So needless to say, we will be dunking on her quite a bit because it's just crazy work. It's crazy work. So shout out to everybody who's already jumped in to the best live chat on the internet. Please let me know that you can hear. So go ahead and drop me some green hearts in the chat that everything audio-wise sounds fine. I appreciate y'all so much for jumping in. This is going to be a good one. This is going to be interesting. So before we get too far afield, because the show is supposed to start at 12 o'clock my time, so in about 20 minutes. And I wanted to make sure they don't have it posted on their page though. They don't have it listed that they're, going to be interviewing Tiffany Henyard, but it was on their Facebook this morning. So matter of fact, let me go over to their Facebook as well. Hold on one second. I do have some fun things to talk about and to look at. So all right. Yeah, I don't see them. I see their show, but I don't see that they have it linked up to go live or that they're announcing it even. So I don't know why they're doing that. For the life of me, I don't get it. Like, I understand terrestrial radio is still a real thing. So I'm not saying that they don't need to have radio, but my goodness, in the morning. All right, so they have it listed here on their page that they're going to go live today at 11 o'clock their time, but it doesn't. I'm just going to leave it right here and wait. Anyway, shout out to the best live chat on the internet. Thank y'all so much for popping in today. We haven't had a good midday live stream in a while. I thought this would be a fun one. So shout out to Mama Bear, been a supporter of the channel for some time, sent me an email and sent me something that I think you all will find interesting, because you may have wondered or asked yourself, why is Tiffany Henyard running for county commission in Georgia? Why is she doing this? Why is she even here in the first place? Well, I don't know exactly why she's here in the first place, but I do know what might be motivating her to seek this office. And you might be saying, well, what is that? I'm glad you asked. Let's bring it in. Let's talk about it. Let's make that a little bit bigger. All right. Based on the 2026 job posting data from Indeed, the estimated average salary for the Fulton County, Georgia commissioner is approximately $79,844 a year. This position represents the District 5 among 6 district commissioners on the Board of Commissioners. Actual pay may vary depending on benefits and official county compensation plans. All right. If you're familiar, here in Georgia, we are very notorious. We've had this problem for quite some time. And I need to find out exactly how much Marvin Arrington, who is the commissioner that is retiring, or he's running for another position. All right, hold on one second. I'm gonna look it up too. And because that might, yes, for allowing people, okay, actually he doesn't make as much as this position. According to this, he makes 53. Okay, so shout out. All right, okay, well, there we go. We are notorious for, like, example being, if Marvin Arrington had been in that role for a while, and let's just say he was making 100,000. We've been notorious here in Georgia for allowing people who come into new positions to take the salary of the person that they're replacing. That's been a problem, or find some way to shenanigan and hornswoggle their way into a pay increase. We've seen it so many times, it's embarrassing. So I actually thought that that would be the case, but it's not. Okay, the board structure. We know that the Fulton County Board of Commissioners includes at-large chairman, as well as 6 district commissioners. Is that bigger? Let me see if that shows up a little bit better. some reason or other, it is, I'm gonna drop the link in the chat because some reason or other, it won't allow me to share this bigger screen. I can see it bigger on my screen, but y'all can't see it. Role expectations. While sometimes considered part-time, commissioners are essentially on call 24 hours a day. So that's probably why they don't make as much, because it is basically a part-time job. And a lot of people who are running against Tiffany, we'll talk about that as well, they actually have like real bona fide businesses and jobs and such of that nature. Whereas, Tiffany, she has her city trends down there off of Old National. And of course, we know that is what it is. It is what it is. It's gainful employment. It's a real job. It's a real job. So we don't want to besmirch a real actual gig. Okay, Jason? Don't do that. All right, let's keep it going. It means the board typically meets on the first and third Wednesday of each month. Is this the third? I think they probably meet today. With meetings available on FGTV. And of course, we've watched that before. And that's going to be, if they ever let her get on, it's going to be wild. What happened? Your audio and video is off. You can't hear me? Okay, let me jump over here and check that out. Okay, well, we don't want that to be the case. Let's go find out what's going on here. What's happening over here? It said that she cannot hear your boy. That's not good. We don't want that. All right, so let's test. All right. Okay, my end it works. Okay, on my end it sounds fine. So I do apologize if there's some kind of technical issue or something of that nature. When we get done, I'll do a double check and test it out. Okay, so Mama Bear says she can hear. Can hear and see you. Thank you so much. I appreciate this. Thank you so much for sharing it. I can hear you, but your lips are behind your voice, if that makes sense. Okay, so there's a delay, and I need to find out why. So let me just real quick look very quickly. Okay. I don't know what the problem might be. Okay, we got that right. I'm gonna turn this off. Yeah, I don't see it. So that will definitely be an after show fix for sure. But I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. I'm probably end up doing a mic check this evening. Then I'll take this apart and rebuild it and make sure that it does work. But thank you so much for letting me know that. All right. So shout out to everybody who's already jumped up in here. So yeah, I think that, what I'm in my research and study, everybody that's running for commission, this commission 5 seat here in Fulton County, all have gainful employment. They have like serious jobs. They seem like serious people. And then we got Tiffany in here. And then we got Tiff. So I'm wondering if part of the reason why the appeal of this position is that it's a job in the political space where you basically work part-time, for lack of a better term, even though you're on call 24 hours a day, but you're working part-time. And would that be a draw for her? I'm wondering if that might be it. What do y'all think? Am I reaching there? What y'all think about that? Let me just make sure. I'm just looking at all my options that I can fix while I'm on stream to see if I can maybe fix if there's any delays or anything like that. Somebody said there was a little bit of lag. And I don't want that to be the case at all. All right. Got it. Okay. Okay, no delay. Okay, so maybe it's okay. No. Oh no. You want me to add Other Jason in here? There we go. Now we got other Jason in here. All right, there we go. So now it's doubling. Not only is the system going crazy, but now it's doubling me. What do you know about that? All right. Great commentary. So if you're wondering, Tiffany Henyard is supposed to be on a radio station. Oh, and I want to talk about this as well. But I'm going to wait until, let's just pull it up real quick. Let me just pull in the young ladies that she's supposed to be on stage with, or she's going to be on the show with. And they haven't posted that she's going to be on there. Like they haven't gone live yet or put up a promo or anything like that. So I'm wondering if anything has changed. Hopefully nothing has changed, because I would love for her to come on. Okay, so here it is. It's The Breakthrough with Jenny Ives is the name of the radio show. Seems like good content creators. I listened to a little bit of what they were talking about. They were talking about the Bears and the potential that the Bears may not leave Chicago. Because if you've been paying attention, the Chicago Bears were considering leaving Chicago to go to Indiana, of all places, right? To compete. So you're like, hey, what's wrong with that? And, of course, they're talking about Mayor Brandon Johnson and what's going on over the south side of Chicago. It's a very interesting radio show. So I'm sure you're probably wondering, well, what's the big deal? Well, what's the big deal if, they have a radio show, they're going to be talking to Tiffany Henyard. That's going to be great. Well, let me just read it real quick and then maybe you'll pick it up. Listen to The Real Story with Jenny Ives and Amy Jacobson live on Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. on AM's 560, The Answer. Hear interviews with influential figures focused on reclaiming Illinois and America. Join us live or listen to past shows in our archives. Why is it that this woman decided to run up back to Chicago to do an interview? Why? Why is she not focusing on doing an interview here in Atlanta? Why did she go back up to Chicago or do an interview in Chicago? I don't think she went like physically back up there, but why is she on an interview in Chicago instead of an interview here in Atlanta? Why is that? I just wonder. Why is that? And I think it's going to be very interesting to see what kind of questions these people ask, these young ladies ask her. I am here for these questions because I think these questions are going to be amazing. Oh, wait. Nope. Still ain't right on time. They don't do any build up or anything. It looks like they probably they do have like commercials beforehand. But anyway, I thought that was very interesting that she's going to require. I don't think so, but I'm sure that they'll probably come up with some way to finagle that. But she won't run. She's not going to win. Let's just be honest. She's not going to win. That's not the biggest issue is not that she's running. The biggest issue is that she's running. Okay. Illinois is in the thick of a fight. Yeah, this is only an Illinois-centric radio broadcast. Why is she going there instead of talking to people here in Atlanta? There's tons of Atlanta radio stations that she could be on, but she chose not to. Why did she choose to go up to Illinois, which I think is a very interesting take? So let's see. They have not released their broadcast or not released the broadcast. They haven't pushed the go button on their broadcast as of yet. They also have a podcast. I'm going to be listening to see if it pops up in there as well. So we got a couple of options up in here. Let's see real quick. Make sure I got the right one. And I still put the ask. We will glad and talk. We can do in studio, have an actual studio, or we can do a talking head. Either way, I think it'll be fun. So I'm looking here, and at the current moment, they do not have anything posted yet. And I'm just so okay. Yeah, I don't see anything. The benefits are pretty steep. You're right. And that might supersede the meager pay. There you go. That could be a very good option. That could be a reason why she's doing it. And shout out to the best live chat on the internet. Thank you all again. Mama Bear, I appreciate that. Sending me that. Thank you very much as well. Thank you, everybody who's already hopped in. Make sure you go ahead and hit that like button and go and tell me what your like number is once you jump in. Turn this off. You sent me an email. All right. Well, while we're waiting for them, we might as well check our email. So email management. Let's see what they did, what they're talking about. Mm-hmm. Right, right. Well, while we're waiting, let's just do that. Let's see if I can make this bigger for y'all. All right, let's pull this in for y'all and see if this looks a little better for y'all. Yeah, I don't know why they have not gone live yet. So real quick, what are the benefits of being a county commissioner? Well, let's see if this might be part of the reason why she's running. Fulton County commissioners, as part of the county's government, are typically eligible for employee benefit packages that include medical insurance and other health-related services. The Fulton County Risk Management Division handles insurance for and potentially provides, that's big, public specialized coverage for county officials. These benefits often include life insurance options. Key details regarding insurance in Fulton County: coverage of county officers, comprehensive medical insurance and wellness services to its employees, public officials coverage. The Risk Management Division secures insurance for county property and public official bonds. We know that. Retiree benefits. The federal court case has previously required that the county to provide health insurance coverages for options for eligible retirees. And I think that's probably part and parcel because she doesn't have any other gainful employment, any other transferable skills except government. And I really believe that's why she's running, because she really can't do anything else. So we will see, though. We will see. And let me see, when I say we will see, let's check and see if they've sent their update that they are ready to go live. All right. Yeah, they don't give you any updates. They just go live.
Strait of Hormuz, with Iran firing at cargo ships.
Green heart,
the UK Maritime Trade Operations reports 2 ships were attacked earlier today in the Strait of Hormuz, and there's also reportedly a third. Our Lauren Simonetti reports these types of attacks are paralyzing movement on the Strait of Hormuz, with just 1 ship passing yesterday.
Fox's Matt Finn in Islamabad. 2 of the ships were seized. Iran is not yet committed to another round of talks, demanding the U.S. end a blockade of Iranian ports. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent facing pushback at a budget hearing over the pause on Iranian oil sanctions. Delaware Democratic Senator Chris Coons arguing it's helping adversaries during a conflict.
Do you disagree that Iran has received significant additional revenue from their sales of oil because of sanctions relief?
I couldn't disagree more.
Okay. Do you disagree that Russia has received significant additional revenue from the sanctions relief?
I couldn't disagree more.
Bessent says a 30-day extension of the sanctions pause comes after more than 10 of the energy-poorest countries requested it. Meantime, Ukraine's top diplomat now pushing for direct talks between Presidents Zelensky and Putin. America is listening to Fox News.
Now, your official weather forecast.
Okay, so
this afternoon, expect some sunshine peeking through the.
Okay, so we're about to watch. Tiffany Henyard is going to allegedly be on this, The Real Story, with Jenny Ives and Amy Jacobson. And I just want to hear what she has to say. I think it's going to be interesting, given the fact that this is an Illinois-centric newscast. I'm really going to be finding it interesting to hear what she has to say about it. Now, I do believe that this newscast is actually right-centric, so they're definitely Republican friendly. So they're going to probably give her a pass on that regard. But I do want to hear how all this pans out. So thank y'all so much for tapping in. Thank you so much for hitting the like button on your way in. And we're going to see. This is going to be interesting. So let's bring it back in.
560theanswer.com/cigar. That's 560theanswer.com/cigars.
They get cigars. They got cigars up in there. They said, we got cigars. We're doing everything. That's a beautiful Chicago skyline. Too bad it's not Atlanta. Oh, never mind.
Pure Talk does. They've pledged to run their entire operation from this country, including all their customer service. Or maybe you care about our nation's veterans. Pure Talk does. They've donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to America's Warrior
Pure Talk.
Partnership, a fantastic organization.
I appreciate y'all jumping in. Thank y'all so much. Hey, what's going on, Amethyst Angel? How are you? Good to see you, friend. Thank you so much for popping in. She just burning herself in a media tour. Reminds me of, yep, Milosevic. Yep, absolutely. She's just trying her best to get in front of as many cameras as possible. The problem is we're here in Atlanta and more specifically Fulton County.
That actually stands for something.
I think that's going to be the part that really is going to cause her a problem, because people in Atlanta are going to want to know, what are you trying to do for Atlanta? Not just what are you jet setting around, because that's already showing part of the problem that she had in other places. She wasn't focused on Dalton. She wasn't focused on Thornton and their specific problems and specific needs. Oh, they're already talking about it. There we go. Great catch. Shout out to Illinois for catching that.
Rates, even earning 8.
All right. Matter of fact, I did see a really good post about that. So let me pull it in real quick. See if I can do this simultaneously. All right, let's go. Yep, here it is right here. Shout out to W News. We're going to pop them in. Hold on, let me pull this in very quickly. All right, real quick. Shout out to WGN News. Green hearts in the chat when you can hear. Let's go.
Is it possible to hold elected office here in Illinois while living in Georgia? If your name is Tiffany Henyard, the answer is apparently yes.
So after the election, there was no mayor until
basically I was a lame duck. Basically, I couldn't do anything.
But you were mayor, correct?
My title was mayor, yes.
Okay.
Hi, I'm WGN TV investigative reporter Ben Bradley. And every time we think we've heard the last of the South Suburbs' former self-proclaimed super mayor, we turn out to be wrong. Henyard is now cleared to run for a spot on the Fulton County Board of Commissioners. That's the area in and around Atlanta. The local elections board held a hearing because there were questions about whether she met the one-year residency requirement. And that led to a hearing in which Henyard answered questions under oath. She told the board that she began living in Georgia on May 1st, 2025. But wait, she was still the Thornton Township supervisor and mayor of Dalton then.
I lost the election in February, so I was no longer the mayor. Somebody else had won. It's just a matter of.
But when was your last day and the new mayor sworn in? Is my question.
The new mayor got sworn in May 5th.
Okay, so were you mayor till May 4th?
I was no longer serving in that capacity.
She may have no longer been serving, but she was still collecting a paycheck. If we take her at her word, she made $12,000 from Dalton taxpayers after she stopped working as mayor. Another $8,600 from the township after she moved to Georgia. That's roughly $20,000. Last year, about this time, we tried to ask her about her attendance during her final months in office.
Why haven't you been to board meetings since your defeat?
And work.
You don't want to answer? You're still getting paid. Why not go to the meetings?
Henyard has switched parties from her days here in Chicago's suburbs. She's now raising money and running unopposed in the Republican primary for county commission. But she'll face a much better-known Democrat in a heavily Democratic district in the general election in November. For more of our reporting, go to WGNTV.com/investigate.
All right, they're ready. They're live. Let's get it. Let's get at it. Let's go. Green hearts in chat when you can hear it.
Because an informed citizenry is the only way to protect our republic.
All right, let's
it's time
see.
for The Real Story with Jeannie Ives and Amy Jacobson.
She can run for office. Good morning, Amy Jacobson here. Jeannie Ives is off. Of course, I'm talking about Tiffany Henyard. The Fulton County Board of Election Commissioners voted 3-1 that she meets the residency requirements to hold office. And she's running unopposed as a Republican the May 19th primary for a seat on the Fulton County Board. Here's a quick recap of that hearing.
I lost the election in February, so I was no longer the mayor. Somebody else had won. It's just a matter of.
But when was your last day and the new mayor sworn in? Is my question.
The new mayor got sworn in May 5th.
Okay, so were you mayor till May 4th?
I was no longer serving in that capacity.
So the point of contention that people have is, she moved to Atlanta, signed a lease May 1st of 2025. It is now a year later, and the new mayor took office on May 5th. With more on this and everything else, we want to welcome to the program for the first time Tiffany Henyard, former mayor of Dalton, former Thornton Township supervisor. Good morning, Mrs. Henyard. How are you?
I'm okay. Thanks for having me on. How are you?
I'm good. I'm going to call you Tiffany, though. Is that all right? And you can call me Amy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. So let's start with how one becomes the mayor of Democratic Dalton and now is a Republican. What was your aha moment, or how did you decide to switch parties?
It's crazy.
Well, as everybody been hearing from me lately, I switched parties based on how the Democrats been moving. Their core values don't align with mine. So I switched because I love what the Republican Party represents, which is faith, family, community, policies. I care about those things so much that I really want to implement those things in the Democratic areas. Because right now, look how the Democrats are moving, and they don't have the things they need. So I want to bring those things to those communities that keep voting Democrat and having reached across the aisle to see what else is out there for them.
Yeah, and you're not alone. I mean, President Trump used to be a Democrat. I used to be a Democrat. I call myself a recovering Democrat. Yesterday, Alan Dershowitz, legal legend, he officially became a Republican, and he cited the Democratic Party's hostility toward Israel and a radical shift that he warns is bad for America. So do you think this whole woke thing, tampons in boys' bathrooms, men playing on women's sports, is that been the downfall of the Democrat Party?
I think so. I think they have a lot of issues and concerns that the people are now waking up to say, well, I don't want that. Or if my kid was involved, I will want to move a certain way. So I like the fact that people are actually waking up to the facts.
So how have you been received by the GOP, about the Republican Party in Atlanta?
Well, I've been welcomed with open arms. They are the ones that filed my paperwork to run for office.
The lies you tell.
You heard the chair speak to at a meeting.
Yeah. Well, why did you decide? First of all, why did you choose Atlanta? You could have moved anywhere, but what made you go to Atlanta?
Well, my guy Kamal, pretty much, he kind of set everything up for us to transition. And we came out here and we went looking for different places, and we ended up, I want to say unfortunately, but fortunately, we ended up in Fulton County. Who would have thought? That's how you know it's God's design. It's all about timing. I never would have thought that.
And you set up a store first, the Thay New Wave Clothing Boutique. So you run that?
Yeah, the New Wave. I'm real creative with wordplay as it relates to my name. So my name is Tiffany Aisha Henyard, so I put THA. So the New Wave Clothing. It's located at 54950 National in College Park. We are Unit B3. We open from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. Of course, you know that's like an entertainment district over there. So everything started jumping off at night. So we open a little later than normal.
And you and I spoke yesterday. You said that it was some of your customers that convinced you to run for the 5th District Commissioner seat on Fulton County Board.
Yes. Because a lot of people, when they were coming in the store, they didn't know who I was. So I love that part because it gave them opportunity to meet Tiffany Henyard, to know what I stood for. So in talking to them, it's like, man, you really diverse in politics. You should run for office. I like your vision. I like where you're going with this. Won't you run? And I never really thought about it. I said, no, I'm not going to run. All the way up until it was time to file for the qualifying week. And I decided to run. And not only that, the Republican Party reached out, and here we are.
That's not true.
No, I mean, people, one point of contention again was that you moved to Atlanta while you were still mayor of Dalton and still the Thornton Township supervisor. They said you got, this according to WGN, you got paid $12,000 from Dalton and $8,614 from
That's
Thornton
good
Township.
questions. Come on now.
But a lot of people, folks, leave jobs and still get paid. They get paid either vacation time that's owed to them, or there's a severance, or they finish out, the month that you have assigned. So what happened here?
Yeah, for those of entertaining the nonsense, that's just noise.
Let's stop for a second. The hostess ruined that question. That question was a great question. Now watch what Tiffany does. I can already tell what she's about to do. I can already see it already.
Distraction to keep them away from the facts and the truth that Fulton County truly needs someone like Tiffany Henyard.
Why?
Because they are underserved communities and pretty much not getting the resources that North Fulton gets. South Fulton is being neglected. And right now, I am the one to stand in.
She has completely ignored the question. The whole question about whether or not you were getting paid is not noise, is not distraction. You did not answer that question, ma'am. I'm sorry. Right. She's in Chicago. Right. She's on the news in Chicago, not news here in Atlanta. Like, this is crazy work. All right, keep going.
Fight for the people and make sure they get the resources needed. And also to add to that, let's talk about TSA. TSA was not getting paid, right?
Right.
But Congress wasn't showing up to work. So when they...
You're literally talking about TSA? This woman is letting... Ma'am, get off your phone and answer questions.
Try to
ask questions
and say that I didn't come somewhere. I'm not entitled to miss a meeting. When people have missed meetings and gridlocked the government for several months, meaning Thornton Township board members, they gridlocked it for about 2 or 3 months and they ain't show up to a board meeting. So I don't try to entertain the small stuff because it's just noise.
So
I've always showed up and did my job.
Yeah, and you're not going to pay the money back, right? I mean, somebody just suggested that you pay that money back.
That's someone's opinion. Everyone has an opinion. Don't make it true. Right now.
Oh, wait. Okay, so this is an interesting. She's putting herself in a box because if in fact she was wrong and she does have to pay that money back, she has admitted that she was not there. So therefore, if Illinois is able to come after her for that money, she has admitted that she took the money. This woman talked too much.
I did my job to the fullest. I took care of the people, and that's the side that I want to show you guys currently now.
Yes.
And I keep stating I lost my seat in February. The true election was February of 25.
Okay.
Another person.
And this is, this is another duplicitous thing that Tiffany does. Just because you lose your seat, this is like saying a contract, you are under contract. And if the contract ends on May 15th, and I just decide on May 1st that I'm not going to come to work anymore because my contract ends on May 15th, I'm abandoning my job for those 14 days. That's basically what she did in the township as well as the mayoral position. Nobody's asking her that question. And I know that they know that. They know it.
For one. So after that, I was just sitting duck. I couldn't do nothing else.
Did you keep your security detail?
No, I didn't have anything else. Nothing.
Wow. And have you gotten threats? I mean, I know you're out there, you've got billboards, and a lot of politicians, by the way, have billboards. So there's one of Brandon Johnson when you drive into O'Hare Airport. So please spare me. And it used to be the Rod Blagojevich tollway system. So, I hate that people crying like, oh, but she put up billboards and she wasted taxpayer dollars on that. No, you were promoting programs. I get that.
Right.
But
I'm sorry. This woman right here is not a good interviewer. Either A, she is doing her best to duck and cover for Tiffany. Those billboards were not, those are the billboards, and you can do some research on that. Those billboards that were in Dalton, they were just random signs. They weren't like promoting something specific. They were just signs saying the first female Black mayor of Dalton is a banner, a marquee, and so forth. The billboard. For what? It was just time wasted. It was just money wasted. That's what it was. Okay, let's go.
What is the biggest misconception about Tiffany Henyard?
That people feel or felt because of the smear campaign and the fake news that I didn't care. I am the number one fan of the people. I care for people. I care for development and improvement. I feel that they didn't look at me being a mom. I am a single parent with a 7-year-old. And people didn't see the heart of Tiffany here because of all the noise, all of the smear campaign. But when you go talk to the people in Dalton, and I'm not talking about the handful of people that they go find to do an interview, I'm talking about the people that truly love Tiffany Henyard, that truly...
Great catch right here. Term ended on May 4th, the time Jason was sworn in. But guess what? Her term as township supervisor ended on the 15th, when Napoleon Harris was sworn in. So even though she wasn't the mayor anymore, she was still the supervisor. That's what people seem, I don't know if they don't understand here in Georgia or they're just ignoring it or whatever like that. But they just seem like they just don't want that to be true. It's a live interview with Tiffany.
In there since the Shaw regime and know the things that I've came and created and changed for their betterment. One of them being the ice skating rink, Just Ice Rink. Them kids love that. They out there all the time skating. It's just things that bring family together is what I care about. Teaching your kid how to swim. They want to open the pool up and let the kids swim in the pool. And we own the pool. It's just like little things that people didn't pay attention to, but they are gridlock government and point the finger at one person, but yet they're not giving you your resources to survive in the community.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now, the stuff she's talking about is not stuff that we want here in Atlanta. So this is what I call an EBT Republican. They claim to be Republican, but they have Democratic ideas. We don't, the stuff that she's talking about, tell us what you're going to do here in Georgia, here in Atlanta, here in Fulton County specifically. I want to hear that. I don't want to hear about TSA. I don't want to hear about what happened in Dalton and Thornton. Ask about what's going on here in Atlanta and how she's researched that to make those changes. That's where the metal's going to meet the meat.
Now, for people to understand who you are, you have a daughter, 7 years old. She's enrolled in school there in Fulton County. And are you pleased with her education so far?
Well, yes, I am. So far, I put her in a top tier school here. But for other schools or people that can't do exactly that, it's sad because they're just passing kids and they're reading below grade average. So it's just things that I would like to try to fix and try to help with, even though that's the school board. It's a different board from the one I'm running for, but I still want to have my input because I want them to have the same things that my kid will have access to.
Right. And that's
so then tell us how you plan to do that. It doesn't have to be a secret. You can say, hey, I've researched this and this is what's the problem. I used to teach in Fulton County. So I want to hear what she has to say. And I don't want to say what school that I believe her daughter goes to. That's neither here nor there if she goes to a public school. The issue is, ma'am, I want to hear your plan. Everybody knows about the problems. Don't bring me the problems, bring me your solutions. Let's go.
It's fine. And a lot of politicians, including, well, all Democrats. Only one that I know that has sent their kids to public school is Brandon Johnson. But anyway, so I wanted to ask you about your father because unfortunately you're like a lot of Chicagoans.
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to disparage her father, and her dad recently was pew-pewed in Chicago. That's a bad situation. But man, we want to know what she's going to do here in Fulton County. That's what we want to know about. And this hostess, I'm sorry, Amy. These are not good questions.
You've been touched by violence, and your father was shot. And just can you walk us through when this happened, where it happened, how he's doing, and has anybody been caught?
Sure. So my father was shot in Chicago about, I'll say, 3 weeks ago. Basically, the area that they were located at is behind a...
Hey, no ordinary Philly bull. I got to pick on you real quick. Okay. I'm going to pick on you. You said, what's the plan for the low reading levels? She's got to be able to read first. Tiffany is such a bad example. She don't need to be pointing her finger at anybody's school district saying anything. She need to be in the class with her daughter right now reading. That's what she need to be doing.
A building, and that's where they park at in the back. So the individual, and this story that they told us, you know me, I still have questions, was shooting from across the way at someone else. And my father was in the crossfire, got hit. Everybody else dropped to the floor, of course, but I guess he didn't move fast enough and it hit him. I got the call. I was at the store when I got the call. It was really, really emotional, and it was tough. That was a tough moment.
But he's doing okay. I mean, he was shot in the face or the neck, or...
Yeah, he did. He did get shot. People got the details wrong, so I don't really want to point more out. So
I'm not trying to take away from her father being assaulted, and definitely praying that her dad looked like kind of a cool guy. I ain't gonna lie. He does. I've seen pictures of him. He looks like this. He looks like your uncle. He looks like a nice guy. So I don't want anything bad for her dad. I don't care about that right now, though. People, I mean, I hate to say it, but people in Fulton County do not want to know about your dad. They want to know what you're going to do for Fulton County and why they should elect you, a quote unquote Republican, over the Democrat, quote unquote, that's been running. That's what they're going to want to know. This heartstring pulling thing is not going to work. It's not going to do anything. And the bad thing is that I don't know why we're bringing this up. That has nothing to do with whatsoever with why she's here in Georgia. Nothing.
Ready to speak on that, but he is doing better. He's out. He's recovering. He is going through therapy currently. I did write a letter saying Brandon Johnson and the governor should allow Trump to come into Chicago because Chicago is a war zone, AKA, they call it Chirac, and that is true. Every day someone's getting shot. Some family member is grieving, and I stand against violence. I'm not for it. I've always been against it. I held Stop the Violent marches right when I became mayor of Dalton. So I'm real big on please put the guns down.
Right. And you wanted them to call up the National Guard, correct?
Yes. To this day, I still stand on it. They still need to come into Chicago. I think that they're afraid that the president is going to show the people what it looks like to feel safe.
Yeah, look at Washington, D.C. I mean, my goodness, that place has changed. Crime is now, 35%? And people feel safe walking to work and walking to the train station, but we don't have that here. How is crime in Dalton? Do you think the National Guard needs to go into there?
How is crime in Fulton? We don't. I'm sorry. Shout out to Dalton people. Shout out to Ed Steve and my man Jason House. Great name. Shout out to Dalton. But she lives here in Fulton, allegedly. Why do you ask her about crime in Dalton? Ask her about crime here in Fulton County. Because we drive Hellcats all over the place. I'm sorry, this hostess, Amy, no shade. This is a terrible interview.
I think once he strategized a plan, meaning the president, and come through, I think he should go everywhere. I don't think he should just stop with Chicago. I know Chicago needs it, I would say, first. But I think that it should be scattered throughout. I was welcoming him with open arms when I was the mayor of Dalton. So I'm all about relationships. People attack, and no matter what.
That's a lie. She did not say anything about Trump until it was right around. She was the first time she mentioned Trump was about the landslide. She was going to win in a landslide. That was the first time she mentioned Trump, and then she she congratulated Trump when he won. That was it. There was no asking for the National Guard to come to Dalton. Man, stop lying. You just lying. And this, shout out again. We here in Georgia, we are very pro-gun. We are very pro-gun here. So what are you going? What are you talking about? This is ridiculous, man.
He's our president, so we should have a working relationship with him despite our differences.
Yes, good point.
Yeah, I wanted to real quickly. I know we're up against the clock here, but talk about Mayor Lightfoot. I mean, she was hired to lead that panel investigating financial mismanagement.
What about the mayor here in Atlanta, Amy? What about them? I wonder, does she know the mayor of Atlanta?
What is your reaction to that?
She's a bum. She's a bum looking for crumbs, and they bought her in, and that was like a political favor. They bought her in, and she got out as the mayor of Chicago. You guys didn't want her, and she had her scrutiny, but yet all of a sudden she's the great white hope. Like, come on, it should not have been that. She should stay in her lane and not indulge in the politics of Dalton, because that's what they used it for. When she did her report, of course, like we knew, like I was telling everyone, no, that's not going on. But because the news and everybody was pushing this negative narrative of people doing this and doing that, I don't touch money, I don't touch checks, I don't touch anything, that everybody kept saying the opposite of. So when she concluded her report, she said nothing was founded. But yet they paid her $400 an hour. Like, come on, but y'all claiming broke.
Well,
Like,
it was political to bring in a black woman, right? I mean, you saw that, right?
Yeah.
What?
So it was non-conclusive. You weren't to what did the report say exactly?
I don't know the words to be exact to recite it. People like to beat you up. Like, it didn't say that. So I just know that she didn't find anything, of course, because there was nothing to find. Again, anybody that understands how politics work, there's a mayor, it's a board, it's a clerk, you have the lawyers, and then you have finance directors, you have HR directors, you have an administrative person, a VA. So you have all those things in play that actually run the day-to-day operation. A mayor and board members, we are the body. The mayor is the head. The body controls the purse. They the one votes who pay things, send things out, things of that nature.
I'm sorry. This is a terrible interview. She's and the bad thing is, I got this feeling that this is all she's going to be getting. These softball whataboutisms and such of that nature. What about Fulton County? How are you what problems do you see in Fulton County that you yourself want to tackle day one? Those are questions that need to be asked. Like, how are you planning on what is the makeup of the board right now, the commission right now? How are you making sure that people know who you are in your particular District 5 right now? What have you done to get your name out there besides suing and acting a monkey in order to get on the ballot? What have you done? These are questions that need to be asked. This stuff about Lori Lightfoot, what in the world?
But yet no one explained it to the public. They just hear a story like, oh yeah, they did it. And they don't fact check. And that's what I want to clear up. I want people to fact check everything that's going on instead of just listen to hearsay. And that's why in this new race, I will show people what's been going on. I will give them facts as I've always done in the past. But this time I think they will listen.
Now, one question from a texter from 217. Why did you endorse all Democrats in Illinois' primary in March? First of all, is that true? And if so,
well, I'm known for always putting a ticket together. As it relates to the ticket that I placed together, most of those people on the ticket is running unopposed. I said that in one of my lives just to explain it to people how it works. And people are like, I'm not voting for this person, I'm not voting for that person. I told them, so then don't vote for them, because at the end of the day, they're running unopposed. So whether you vote for them or not, they will win the seat. So that's pretty much what that really entailed. People call me, look to me to get them direction that are Democrats, and that is like the residents. So all my seniors they needed direction. So I will sit down, go through it, research people for them, and I say, these are the better candidates.
Yeah.
And that's what they went with. Yeah, so that was the reason why. I still have friends that's Democrats, so, you know, I'm not going to not still talk to them or be there for them just because I'm Republican. It's just like sports. You got a team, I got a team. We go back and forth over who we like, but we still friends at the end. So.
Right. All right. And then is there anything, before we let you go here, any regrets that you have from your time as the Dalton mayor or as a supervisor for Thornton Township? Any of the trips, you know?
No regrets, just lessons, you know. That everything was a test, and now I'm able to tell my testimony. And just to give a little light to trips, people put it in, like I said, in headlines as though we was doing something wrong, whereas we have a budget to travel as every other elected official does. But they put it in my case as she did lavish spending. She went on this trip. She ate at this place. Like, stop it. Everybody has a budget to basically go out of town to a conference, just so people understand the difference, because they call it trips, but it's conferences. And you get to go there and you learn or bring different ideas back to your city. And guess what? I'm not the only one that went. My entire board went. But yet I was the headliner of every single thing that they thought was a problem, just to make me look bad and to go against my reputation, my character. And that's what I didn't like or don't like about politics. I don't like that.
Well, I got to tell you, because I've had to reinvent myself a few times, and, you know, the bills keep coming, even though you don't have a job. And then when you have kids, I mean, you have mouths to feed. I mean, it's, you know, but I'm glad. I mean, I truly believe that people can switch over to different parties, that their values can shift and change as they get older. But you're sure you're not doing this just for publicity. This is in your heart that you're a Republican now.
Of course. Think about it. Me for publicity, as though I need to do anything for it. It just comes naturally. I could just go outside, or I could go and work at Walmart. It's going to make the news. I'm just being funny. I'm not working at Walmart.
No, I know. It's true, though. But that's because you're good looking and you're charismatic, and we don't, you know.
Yeah.
And you have been, you know, I look at this list of alleged wrongdoings, and I know, because I've been the victim of it too, the, you know, makeup lies. And you don't think it's true, and then it happens to you, and then you're just flabbergasted. Like, but they know my number, they know where I live. They could have just asked me the truth.
Yeah.
And they decided not to do it because they just stuck with their narrative.
Correct. It's a paid narrative, a paid attack on my character. Because think about it, who gets that much news? I'm getting more news coverage than the president. Make that make.
I'm sorry. This woman, Amy, I'm sorry. This is a terrible interview. You ask her nothing about policies that she now used to support and now abominates. You've asked nothing. You didn't say, like, hey, you used to believe this. How are you now believing this? Nothing. This is a terrible interview.
Makes sense. Yeah. And I'm a local. So I just want people to give me the opportunity to be heard. Give me the opportunity to tell my story from my mouth, not anyone else's mouth. And then just pay attention to the heart of Tiffany Henyard, the soul of Tiffany Henyard, and come and do the meet and greet. That way you can get a different perspective than what's being showcased, like you said, because you're good looking and they need you for clicks and views. If anybody wants to support me, please go to tiffany4fulton.com. Again, that's Tiffany, and that's FOR.
I don't care. This host is horrible.
Campaign page. I am raising funds to run for office. My election is May 19th.
You're not going to get elected. You're not going to win. Sadly, you don't have to. I mean, you're running unopposed, so you get one vote.
At the end of the day,
won.
I met every single qualification there was to say I can run for office. But yet I had to go through the clicks and views, the entertainment, the noise, for whatever reason, to paint me as a bad person, and it's not true.
Were you nervous at that hearing?
In the beginning, I would say I was nervous only because I didn't know what powers to be was in the work. Right. I've seen elections where people come in, or I say election hearings, But people come in and it's supposed to be one thing, and then everybody votes the opposite way, and the facts be right there, and then they have to go and appeal it and waste money, and that's another strategy they use to get people out of races. Because if you kick them off the ballot, most people won't go and appeal. Because
and I have to admit, I do think that's why they allowed her to run, because they know that she's a litigious person and she's going to sue, and it's just going to waste time. I do believe now. I don't think it's right. I still think they should have just did the right thing. But I do believe that the election board knows this chick going to sit here and sue us, and it's going to drag this out. It's going to be foolishness and so on and so forth. And again, they try to kick the can down the road. They washed their hands of it and said, oh, we're going to just let her go and let the people decide, even though they were well within their means and well within the reason to say no. I think that's why. And she's saying it right here.
The A don't have the funds, B, they're just like, oh, I'm tired, I'm not going to go through that. It's a number of things of why they don't do it. But I want to expose the people that's doing all the wrongdoing so that people can now understand where Tiffany Henyard stands.
Okay. Again, it's Tiffany for Fulton.com.
Who
Tiffany,
cares?
F-O-R, Fulton.
Tiffany4jail.com.
Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Okay, I don't know what
Real Story with Jeannie Ives and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
All right, this is the commercial break. Let me say
Tiffany Henyard.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Just metals, including gold, involves risks.
Oh, they got more. Hold on. It looked like they took callers. Oh, I didn't know about this part. Hold on, this should be good. Let's see what happens. Because clearly the audience is smarter than the hostess. I'm sorry, Amy. This is a horrible interview. So let's see if the audience can fix this. Let's go.
A lot of reactions coming in via text on the phone lines, 312-642-5600. Of course, it's in reaction to our interview with Tiffany Henyard, who is now running for the 5th District Commissioner in Fulton County. That's Atlanta, Georgia. Let's go to Keith somewhere in Illinois. Good morning, Keith. How are you? Are you there?
Good morning. Thanks for having me on.
What's going on?
Nothing much. I just wanted to touch on a couple issues, especially about the travel. As most people know that's involved in politics, that people usually have expense accounts, and they can also go on annual conferences for different things, business, whatever the conference is referencing. I find it very strange that so much attention was brought to the travel of Tiffany Henyard, but yet right now the new Thornton Township Board has went on approximately 4 or 5 conferences and not a mention of the amount of money that they have spent at all. Everything seemed like a straight out political hit. I actually had to live through it with her. So
I know it's Keith Price.
Are you related to her? Are you guys friends?
Keith
Or
Price.
do you live in Dalton?
No, I don't live in Dalton. I lived in Harvey. I was the manager of the food pantry. I was brought in by.
Yep, that's Keith Price. I knew it was Keith Price.
Oh, okay.
Even if you look at that food pantry right now, the quality of food has dropped. The amount of people that they're servicing has dropped. One thing that I can definitely say about Tiffany is that when it came to service, she was hard to beat.
Okay. All right, Keith. Well, thank you for listening. I appreciate your comments. And you're right. I mean, Mayor Johnson will just jet off to go to anti-Kings protest or protesting the State of the Union. And he doesn't even know how many tens of thousands he just spent taking him and his staff and his security detail. Because I was at a press conference and I asked him and he just went, I don't know. I mean, he didn't know the answer. So thank you so much for your time and thank you for your phone call. I appreciate it. Let's go to Karen.
Let me ask a question about food pantries, because I'm not big on food pantries, but let's just be honest. If the policies within Dalton are increasing the income and helping people with their actual work, their actual jobs, they're bringing in more money. And I don't know this, but I'm just asking. Shout out to Ed Steves. He's got my number. Jason House. We've talked before. So what about, okay, wouldn't that mean that people would potentially stop using the food pantry so much because now they have the ability to go to Jewel and Osco, go to Publix, go to Kroger, and get food that they want rather than the food that they get from the pantry? Wouldn't that actually make sense? Like, it just seems odd. Like, y'all people are wild.
In the south suburbs. Good morning, Karen.
Well, hello. This is Karen Hicks. I know Tiffany personally. I know Keith Price personally. Been out in Dalton since the 80s, had one of the largest transportation companies. Keith Price and Tiffany Henyard has always been a part of the community, period. Riley Rogers is the real crook out there in Dalton, okay? He hired me. He thought I would play the game. I didn't go along with it. Of course, he fired me. I have documentation. I even have a very good friend that told me he would not have fired her if she was not my friend. Let me just say this. The Democratic Party in the state of Illinois is an insult.
Well, are you going to become a Republican now, like Tiffany?
I've always been a Republican. My father told me in 1983, you'll look up and you'll see a bunch of black people in political positions and the black communities will be impoverished. I'm looking at it today. Okay. It's sad because most of my people don't understand business, period. Tiffany was great for the community, but she wouldn't play the game. And I'll say this to those that live in Thornton Township. It's an insult. It's an insult that Napoleon got in with that bogus type of voting. And I just say this, the Democratic Party are a bunch of crooks. Go do everybody's books and you'll see every one of them have birthday parties off of taxpayers' money.
Okay.
They I got a person that said they allow somebody to come in their community because their daughter liked them. We better wake up and understand. So when it comes to Tiffany, Tiffany's always been a people person. She's always been a sharp dresser. She's always had her hair done, so she didn't need to steal money to do any of that. You all have a great day.
Thanks, Karen. Thanks for the phone call and for the passion. Let's go to Bill in Hinsdale, who has a different take on this. Hi, Bill.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. I hate to say it. I feel terrible that the woman's father was shot. That's the only thing I feel sorry for. She was a crook. The evidence is against her like you wouldn't believe. And I hate when people commit crimes and then they're all of a sudden the victim. She's going away and she switched parties because she wants a pardon from Donald Trump down the road. Period. Full stop.
Well, she hasn't been charged with anything yet. I mean,
where's the FBI?
She will
Cash,
be.
where
I
you
know
at?
Prosecutor Bert Olson. She will be.
All right.
You can put that on your breaking news. Yeah.
All right, thanks, Bill, for the phone call. Appreciate it.
Shout out to Bill.
Now let's go because it is Edgar County Watchdog. Actually, let's squeeze in these two calls before we get to John Kraft and Kirk Allen. And they are the two who broke this story, by the way. Let's go to Robert in Bloomingdale real quick. Hi, Robert.
Yeah, how you doing? I got to tell you, you got to only look at her track record. You only got to look at what she's done for Dalton, which is absolutely nothing. And look at Governor Spamberger. My friends in Georgia, don't do it. You don't know what you're signing up for there. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Robert. Appreciate
Shout
it.
out to Robert.
Ron on the south side. Hi, Ron.
Robert
how are
in the
you?
chat.
Hey, Amy, excellent interview. Yeah, real quick. I would have liked a better response when you asked about Mayor Lightfoot's investigation. She said that she didn't know the word. She should figure that out. And lastly, when she was talking about becoming a Republican, she just denounced the Democrat. But I would have wanted to hear something about what is appealing about the Republican Party. When I hear blacks, they want to become Republican, not just because you denounce the what are some of the core values? Policy, not politics.
I can get with that. I can rock with him.
Interview Amy, and thank you very much for having her.
All right. Thanks, Ron. Appreciate it. Edgar County Watchdog, John Kraft and Kirk Allen, they're joining us now because they originally broke this story. So should we Republicans welcome Tiffany Henyard into the party? Let's start with you, John.
Absolutely not. Just, you can look at her recent history in Dalton and Thornton Township and the fact that, even though she says that she's a Republican now, she posted on her Facebook before the last primary in Illinois who she endorsed, and all of them were Democrats.
Every last one of them.
I mean,
and
yeah, but were there any Republicans running?
Yes.
I don't know, but I know.
I went and looked. There were Republicans running. Yes. So she could have, there were Republicans she could have selected. She didn't have to select Democrats. She could have selected, there were a few, and there were some incumbents that, I mean, unopposed races, and those were Democrats, but she could have selected Republicans.
Oh, that she endorsed, I would say there were Republicans running because she endorsed the treasurer and the attorney general. Let me look here.
Why does this guy sound like that?
I had it pulled up. Okay. She endorsed a senator up there, the attorney general, the secretary of state, the treasurer, a congressman, a sheriff for Cook County, a judge, 3 judges, 4 judges. I know there had to be other people running for those offices, that some of them would have been Republicans.
What did you take away from the interview?
You don't know.
Be honest.
A lot of untrue statements on her behalf.
Such as
she
what?
She said, number one, she said she didn't handle the money. Well, when I look at the lawsuit that Dalton filed against Fifth Third Bank, she's the only signatory, according to the lawsuit, in $1.9 million worth of checks. She signed knowing that it had to have 2 signatures, and the bank cashed them. That she wasn't truthful in that, and her explanation of how, you know, the public body's supposed to work. You got the treasurer, you got the clerk, you got the trustees. That's true. That's how it's supposed to work. But my experience with researching what she did while she was doing it and talking to people up there, she ran the show, period. If anybody disagreed or crossed what she wanted them to do, she fired them, locked them out of their offices, cut off their email and other things. And we wrote tons of articles, and everything we wrote was truthful.
Now, how did you get on? Like, who tipped you off to Tiffany Henyard?
I'm not entirely sure. I know we got a tip about Thornton Township, and then from a meeting in Thornton Township, we got a tip about the village of Dalton, and we showed up to the village of Dalton when our first meeting. They had to have it in the parking lot because the trustees scheduled a meeting that she didn't want them to have.
And she locked them out.
And so she tore up the meeting agendas on the door, locked them out of the building, and told them that if they went into the building for the meeting, she'd have them arrested for a trespass.
Sure did.
So
I saw that.
They had the meeting in the parking lot. And that was our first visit to the village of Dalton for a meeting.
Okay, let's bring Kirk Allen into this conversation. Kirk, what did you take away from the interview?
Well, I think one of the most important things is don't put any focus on politics. I don't care what party she claims to be. He's a master at the doublespeak. He was a mayor. When she took office, there was a $5.6 million surplus. When she left, there was a $3.65 million deficit. Tons of unaccountability of credit card spending, over $700,000 in 1 year. No records to support it, according to the investigative report. My question now, why do we continue to rely on the federal prosecutors to do something about this activity? Where's the Cook County prosecutor? Where's the attorney general?
Well, is she still under a federal investigation?
Hold on.
Our
Hold on.
understanding she is.
Hold up. Wait. Hold on. Wait a minute. Did you hear what this woman just said? Hold on. I'm going to back up a little smidgen. Y'all know I like to do that. Did you hear what she just said? Y'all got to be playing with me. Did you hear what she just said? She just said, is she still under federal investigation? Didn't she just act like that woman had done nothing wrong when she was talking to her on the phone? But now all of a sudden she knows that she was under federal investigation? Listen to this. Amy, baby. Look, I'm not even a journalist. I'm a pre-K journalist. Ma'am, you're asking horrible questions, and you've literally allowed this woman to come over here, and y'all be, what she's doing is she's money laundering bad ideas. Like, this is the opportunity for her to legitimize her bad behavior by y'all co-signing and asking these sorry backside questions. By you not asking any challenging questions, by you not really holding her feet to the fire, you have now tacitly given her the thumbs up, the stamp of approval that she's legitimate. This woman literally just said, is she still under federal investigation? Now, see, that flies in the face of what Keith Price is called about. But ma'am, if you knew that, and now you're asking that, see, and nobody else has said it but her. All right, watch this.
Rely on the federal prosecutors to do something about this activity. Where's the Cook County prosecutor? Where's the attorney general?
Well, is she still under a federal investigation?
Our understanding she is. That and there's pretty good sources that is the case. But again, why is it always the feds that are doing that? Why do we as Illinois citizens have to default to the federal government to get accountability? Where's the accountability with our own prosecutors?
Yeah, that's good questions.
She looks defeated. I don't know this woman. This is my first time watching this show. This woman looks defeated. Like she didn't know. She almost looked like she didn't know this stuff. Her face is looking like, oh yeah, this is crazy.
All right, John Kraft and Kirk Allen, we're going to have to leave it there. Coming up on The Real Story, heart health and liver. Yes, we're going to be changing gears. You're listening to AM 560, The Answer.
This lady's bad on my. This lady's bad for my heart health. Shout out to the best live chat on the internet. Yeah, she looks defeated. Like, look, I got Shanghai. I believe she got Shanghai. Real quick, I dropped a link in the chat, and you're welcome to check this out, team. I want to show you, this is the ballot that Tiffany Henyard was supporting just this past March. And I didn't take the time to look up everybody that's on here. This is, let's make this as best a screen as possible. But this is who she endorsed. And let me, and again, I don't know all these people, but I'm sure y'all can look it up. And this is on her Facebook page. I dropped the link for y'all to check it out. So she alleges that all these people were running unopposed, and therefore her saying that you should vote for Jesse Jackson Jr., Thomas Dart, or the Anthony Tony Thurford, they were all running unopposed. So even though they were Democrats, I was just saying, hey, just take them, go ahead and vote for them. It's okay. Because I guess people needed to know who to vote for when they were running unopposed. Because that's what she wants me to believe, that these people were running unopposed. And by her saying, oh, vote for this person, I'm going to just assume Jesse Jackson Jr. Jesse Jackson Jr., yeah, go ahead and vote for him. It's all good because he's a good person. But ma'am, did somebody really need you to tell them that? If he was running unopposed? Like that makes no sense. If they're running unopposed, I just vote for the person. I don't need to know who to pick between. So no, I think you were endorsing these individuals. And I'm trying to see, I'm not 100% certain this is the right ballot because I found the ballot, I think. I don't know, this might be right. I thought this one's right. All right, let me see who's on this ballot. Hold on a second. U.S. Senator Raja. Let me just double check I got the right one. Because I do want to see if what she said comports. And again, this is just a little thought experiment. I don't know. I don't think this is the right one, Jason. I don't want to put it up there if it's wrong. Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to do it because I don't think it's the right ballot. Okay, wait. Hold on. No, I got it right. This is the right one. Okay, so she said, Let me see. Kwame Raoul was Secretary of State. According to her testimony, okay, so according to Tiffany's testimony, her telling people to vote Democrat was primarily because they were running unopposed. And I might be right here. I just don't I don't want to pull up a wrong one and be over get egg on my face because I'm doing this in real time. But I don't think that that's true. I don't think that what she said was true, and I'm not gonna. And y'all can look it up. I left it right there. Y'all can check it out. But I do think that I don't think she's being honest. I think she's being a little bit duplicitous, and I don't think she expected people to call her out about that and say, "Well, hey, how is it that you are a quote unquote Republican endorsing Democrats?" And her saying that, "Oh well, they were the only ones running." I don't think that's true. I think that's not true. I just want to double check. I don't want to pop up with the wrong ballot and put egg on my face. So I'll even if I come back later on, I'll come back later on and go over it. But I hope that makes sense. Yeah, that's what's on her Facebook, and I just put that on there. But I want to double check who are those people running against. So here's the link if y'all want to check it out. Email management if you find something better. Here's the link to her Facebook page, and these are the people that she was endorsing. And not all of them are Republicans, but not all of them are Democrats either. But I don't see who they were running against or if they were running unopposed or whatever of that nature. That's what I want to check on first before I say whether or not emphatically she was not being honest. Even though I don't think she's being honest, that I feel comfortable in saying, but I want to just have my evidence in line as well. So shout out to y'all. Thank y'all so much to everybody who jumped in. That was a very interesting interview. I did shoot them a text message on their little line, but I don't know if I don't think I'm gonna get in. Yeah, I don't think they care what I'm saying. But shout out for sure. Thank y'all everybody who tapped in. This is gonna be such an interesting. How did we get here? How did we get here? I just don't get it. How did this woman get here to Georgia? Really that desperate? What were we doing, Georgia? Okay, I see what you're saying. Yes, it's on her Facebook page right here. But I don't see that there was anybody else that they were running against. All right, I'll let y'all check it out. All right, good people, y'all do me a favor. You hit that like button if you enjoyed the channel. Thank you so much for subscribing, hyping the video. That's super helpful when y'all do that. When you hit that hype button, it helps out a ton. Please tell a friend, share the channel, all that kind of good jazz like that. Thank you so much for supporting. I did see that she is going to be allegedly on a podcast this evening with Keith Price, of all people. I might come back this evening and we might run another one. We might do a two-peat. So don't be surprised. I might roll back through here tonight. And yeah, her boyfriend, he got a whole wife. What are we missing here? Like, I want to know, my question for Tiffany, if I had one question, where are you in church? Where do you go to church? Now, you're like, Jason, why are you asking that question? Because, like it or not, for good or for not, Black people primarily have at least some kind of reverence or acknowledgement of a church community, right? And again, it's not perfect by any means or measures because there's a lot of phony, false, and fake churches. But I just want to know, like, where have you landed as it relates to church? And since she says she doesn't drive, that means that her married boyfriend would be driving her to church. So I want to know, like, where do you go to church that your pastor is okay and has made no point to call you out or straighten you out about the fact that you're living with your boyfriend, your married boyfriend, by the way, and you have your daughter is exposed to that lifestyle. Like, why is that okay? Like, oh yeah, I remember she hoodwinked Roland. She hoodwinked him. She said, "Woo!" She Jedi mind tricked him. Oh, let me see. Somebody said what time tonight? Okay, I saw it and I was like, maybe I'll do that. Hold on, let me see. Let me find it real quick. It's gonna be later. I think it's 8:00. Don't quote me on that. Hold on one second. Where did I see that dumb thing? And also I gotta find out if I even crackers, where is it? All right, I'll get back on it. Yeah, I believe that. A mega church where she is drunk. It's crazy. I mean, her store, the City Trend store, is like down the street from World Changers, so I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised. No, Kamal is not a resident as far as I know. And even in that, like, it's still me. Like, if my wife moved to Montana and became a resident and I needed to move out to Montana, like, my residency would start after my wife and kids. Thankfully, my wife is not moved to Montana, so shout out to that. Because that would be troubling. That'd be very troubling. I'm looking. Oh, yeah. I saw it and now I don't see it. So that's what I get for talking so fast. There it is right there. Okay. Keith Price. Hold on. Where is this thing? Hold on. Keith Price has a, let me pull this in so y'all can see it with me. So apparently Keith Price, the guy that called in, he has a podcast, a platform where all candidates and politicians can be heard regardless of their party affiliations, people over parties. All right. And it's the Keith Price deprogram political ties over parties, people over parties. And that's where it's supposed to be. And here it is right here. So when is it? It's supposed to be today, 8 p.m. Central Time. So it's 9 o'clock Atlanta. Yep. I might come through. Y'all might have to, I don't know. Y'all might. She getting married Monday. What you talking about? Oh, Lord have mercy. I'm sorry. I see this right here. I just threw Montana in the air. I just threw it somewhere. I just threw Montana out there. We might come through and watch this, y'all. Y'all let me know. Y'all, we might do this. Tune in. Is it only on Facebook? Like, where is it? How do you find it? All right. I hate these janky things like this. Stephanie Wiedemann said, let me get in on this. Oh, look at this. Lord have mercy. This man right here, bless his heart, Richard Nolan, he is a pure clown. He says this, I believe she can take the positions as commissioner in Fulton County. They have made her superstar. The key is to get to the people, knock on doors, meet, greet. This is the guy that ran as a Republican, allegedly, in Dalton. He was running as a Republican. This is crazy. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna leave that alone. These people are wild. So anyway, I will let y'all know, man. Maybe I'll do this tonight. Maybe we'll do this tonight. Maybe we'll tap in a couple people and we'll just do a little watch party or something like that. Y'all let me know. Email management if y'all want to. Let me see. That's 8 o'clock their time. It's 9 o'clock my time. I don't know. I have my beard bonnet on by then, but I might have my camera off. I'll be have my pajamas on or something. I'll be like this all night, but it'll be okay, I think. You up for it? All right, let's do a poll. Let's do a poll real quick. Who's doing this? Let me know. Her view of leadership, in green hearts in the chat if you'll come tonight. Her view of leadership makes no sense. You need to lead by example. There we go. I mean, she could be at Jamal's church. I mean, it's far from where I believe she lives. But I mean, it's not everything's far here in Georgia. Everything's far in the metro. So I mean, we drive all the time. So it's not. It wouldn't be the craziest thing. I mean, she would get away with. I mean, trust me, she would. You could hide at Jamal's church. So, and I'm saying that word church with air quotes. What's going on, President? Not perfect. All right, y'all gonna hop in tonight. If we do it at 9:00, I'll set it up. But y'all gotta make sure y'all come through, Samantha. You got to make sure you tell a friend. We'll come through again. Oh, okay. Here they come. Here come the green hearts. Y'all let me know. I'll do it. I'll do it, man. Y'all know this thing is crazy work. But I know that this is going to be another softball interview. That's what I do know. Emphatically, it will be another softball interview. Like, it's not going to be a hard-hitting interview at all. He ain't going to ask her any questions because I know her people watch my channel. So I know Keith Price is not going to ask her what she going to do for Georgia. He's going to ask her everything about how bad the people were up in Dalton, how terrible they treated you. They ran you up out of here, blah, 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 blah. He's not going to ask her any hard-hitting questions about how she is going to change. And how does she actually research what needs to be changed here in Georgia? How do you know there's a problem? Because you know what you never hear her talk about? You never hear, and matter of fact, let me ask y'all this. While y'all are putting green hearts in the chat, if you plan on being here tonight, there's one thing about Fulton County that everybody knows about. Everybody knows about this one place, hint, hint, here in Georgia that has captivated people's attention. There's one place that everybody knows. Everybody knows about it. You may never have been to Georgia a day in your life. You might not be able to find Atlanta on a map, but you have heard of this place. There's one place that has captivated people's attention. And I want to see if anybody puts it in, because we talked about it before already. Does anybody know? It's just one simple place. It has gotten a lot of attention. No, it's a place, not a person. Y'all said Fonnie Willis. Oh, wow. What's going on, Brian? How are you? That's right. There is a documentary about it. There is a documentary about this place that captivates. Dare I say it? Oh yeah, he was fired by Napoleon. Absolutely. Oh, of course he has an axe to grind. Absolutely. And you never hear Tiffany talk about this place. There we go. It's the jail. You are almost guaranteed. Here, I'm giving Tiffany advice over here. Somebody said the Fulton County Prosecutor's Office. Y'all are wild. Okay, I'm giving advice out here. I'm giving financial. I'm not financial. I'm giving political advice here in Georgia. If you have a solution for the Rice Street Jail and you're serious about it, you're going to get people's attention. Rice Street is kind of like, again, like it is like legend here. Everybody knows about Rice Street here in Atlanta. And if you come in here and say, oh, well, Rice Street, like you talking about TSA, what are you talking about? But if you said, hey, Rice Street is deplorable. I mean, you just got to do one quick Google search. You'll find so much about Rice Street. It'll make your eyes water. And why not talk, Tiffany, about what you're going to do to fix or rectify the problems at Rice Street? That will get people's attention. But we already know that you're full of hot air, so it's not going to happen. But at least then you can say, okay, I got like I picked a real problem and I'm going to bring a real solution to said problem. Yeah, people getting eaten up by bugs there. You're more likely to die in Rice Street than to die on the street. That's crazy. Hey, Brian, thank you, brother. Welcome back. Welcome back. Good to see you. Said I've been sick, but I'm back and watching. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Prayerfully, you are doing well. Thank you so much. So my concern, my issue is that Tiffany doesn't come with solutions. She just points out that there's a problem. Yes, everybody in Atlanta knows there's a problem at Rice Street. What is your solution? Because we don't need more eyes to observe that there's a problem. We already know there's a problem. What's going to be your solution? There is the $1 million question. And I don't think she has one. Truth be told, I don't think she does. But I'm gonna go on a limb. I don't think she fully understands problems here in Atlanta, because the problems here in the South, here in Atlanta, are not the same problems that they have in Chicago, Dalton, South Land, and all that. We have different problems. Now we have some and definitely different causes. But what's going to be your solution? Because your solution can't be the same exact solution that you would have had up in Dalton, because that's going to be a problem. Because that's not necessarily, we don't even know. How do you even know that that's a problem that we have, that we're looking for a solution like that? So y'all said, okay, so I'll go ahead and schedule the live stream. Let me go ahead and send this to Mark, the editor. Make me a thumbnail for this. Here, send it to him right now. Y'all shout out to Mark, the editor. This is going to be wild. Okay, got it. Send it out to him. Y'all, thank y'all so much, everybody, for tapping in. That was interesting. And I'm really looking forward to, I know more people are going to probably tap in on that interview. And y'all tell a friend, check it out. The interview that Tiffany did on that radio show. I definitely think it was a bad interview. It definitely is. It was a bad interview. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm just reading some stuff. But thank y'all so much. I really appreciate it. I'll see y'all tonight, 9:00 Eastern Standard Time. I guess Keith Price is gonna do an interview with Tiffany, and we need to talk about it. We need to get over and chop it up. What's the text for this? Let's go with exposed. All right. Mark is asking questions. Shout out to Mark, the interview. Mark, the editor. Also, Keith Price is trying to keep Tiffany out of prison. He's afraid because he will be down with the ship. She's aware of all of the secrets and misdeeds. Oh, right. He realizes she can sink him. That's a great point. Maybe that's why he's rocking with her so hard. But we gonna see. But thank y'all so much, everybody. I appreciate it. I am going to capitalize on the rest of the day. Drop my microphone. Capitalize on the rest of the day. Yeah, as I started out, Brown Sweetie, I actually looked at the salary of the county commissioner, and I said, like, they make about $79,000 a year. That's probably a good come up from $0 a year at the current moment for her. That might be why she's doing this. It's like, look, I need a job, and I can't do anything else. Anything else is meaningful. So let's jump in and talk about this again tonight. I might start a little bit early. Maybe something pops up. If somebody emails management about that ballot that we were looking at, somebody emails management, I'll definitely bring it in. Y'all, thank y'all so much for rocking with me. I appreciate it. Thank y'all so much for tapping in, hitting that like button, all that kind of good jazz. As I said before, hitting that like, commenting, hyping the video is super helpful. It does mean a lot. So I really can't say enough. Thank you so much. Everybody have a great rest of the day. Enjoy your day. And I'll see you this evening, Lord willing, at 9:00 Eastern Standard Time, probably 8:45. So until then, everybody, grace and peace. Take care. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Jay Witt Podcast. If you enjoyed today's show, please do me a favor and hit me up with that 3-piece special. Like the video, subscribe, and of course, share it with somebody who would also enjoy this type of content. And make sure you leave a comment, because I do pin the best comments to the top. So thank you so much for tuning in today. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace.